The cruise sector has seen continuous increase in both popularity and money since the 1980s. Massive, self-sufficient floating towns travelling to far-off places have long been a major attraction for tourists, and that attraction shows no signs of abating. A life of leisure and luxury, such as this, nevertheless, is not without its murky underbelly. Only a small portion of cases of people disappearing from cruise ships have been solved. Additionally, cruise companies are not legally compelled to disclose every instance of a passenger going missing or going overboard, resulting in only a small number becoming public knowledge through media reports. However, Rebecca Coriam's case was one of the few that was made public. But even after more than a decade, nobody knows for sure what really happened to her on board the Disney Wonder on March the 22nd, 2011. Hello, fellow weirdos. It's Dom, and welcome to this week's episode of Horror House. Please take this as your reminder that you are a lovely human being and you're doing beautiful things, you're doing amazing things, you're awesome, and thank you for being here. Whether we're talking about a terrible true crime case, a mind-bending unsolved mystery, a crazy cult case, you tune in every week and you always give the love and support, and we appreciate you for that. You're awesome. Thank you. So, Amy unfortunately couldn't make it this week's episode. However, it is not just me. You'll be happy to know. It's a very special episode as it is a collab episode, which I'm very excited for. I've wanted to bring these guys on for a long time because I love their show, and I'm very happy that we were able to get round the logistics and the time differences and the big old ocean that separates the two lands that we both live in. Thank you for coming on today, Carmen from the amazing podcast Live, Laugh, Murder.
Thank you for having me. What's up, guys? So I'm half of my little team here. Joanna, my co-host, is in the middle of moving and selling a house and all of those things, so you just get stuck with me today. But I'm so happy to be here, Dom. Thank you. And I wish Amy was here. Miss her lots because she's awesome.
She is a wonderful, wonderful co-host. I say it to her a lot. I couldn't think of doing this with anybody else. So, Carmen, for the people that haven't listened to your lovely show, one, why? Why? Change that. Go and listen to Live, Laugh, Murder, for God's sake. But if you don't mind, I thought maybe you could talk about your show, a little bit about it, where people can listen to it, where people can find you on socials and all that good stuff.
Sweet. Awesome. So yeah, what we do is, the premise is I tell a story to my co-host, Joanna, and I tell my stories in a narrative fiction style, whether they be, and here's the thing, they're either the plot of a horror movie or they're the facts of a true crime case. So I tell Joanna a story, and midway through, a little more than that, I ask her the infamous, is this the plot of a movie or is this facts? Is this real? And she gets very mad at me every time I say it because she sometimes has no fucking clue what's going on. But lately she's been on a streak, and besides her, to the rest of the world, it's a fun way to kind of test your horror movie and true crime knowledge and see if you got it right while you were listening. And then I reveal the rest of either the plot or the facts after the big reveal in the show. So that's what we do over there, probably 90% of the time. Every now and then, like I like to throw in some twists and turns and just different types of episodes just to mix it up. But we are true crime sometimes.
I love it. I am 0 for many while I've been guessing if it's a horror film or a true crime case. One day I will get it correct. I'm always like, I'm certain, I'm feeling good. This is true crime. And then like, no, it's plot of a horror film. And I'm like, God damn it.
I hear that a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what I hear. I want it to feel like it's on the tip of your tongue. I want whatever I'm telling you as the listener to feel like you know it, but you don't know it, and just have a little fun with it. Not that they're all fun, don't get me wrong, but you get what I'm saying.
Do you know anything about the disappearance of Rebecca Coriam? I hope I'm saying that right. Coriam. I think it's Coriam.
I don't know. And I know the cruise ship industry with the missing people and crimes and international laws, it's a
Mm,
weird thing. It's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
But no,
Uh,
I've never heard of her.
Wonderful, wonderful. Cool. Are you ready to get into the episode? Get into the juicy
You
details.
bet. Tell me everything, please.
Awesome. So Rebecca Coriam was born on March the 11th, 1987, in Chester, England. Whoop, whoop. She attended Chester Catholic High School after growing up in Chester with her parents, sister Rachel, and two foster brothers. Um, she used to work in Chester Zoo, where family had previously done so. Um, on the zoo grounds, there is even a bench dedicated to her grandparents, Kevin and Dolores.
Hmm,
That's sweet.
fancy.
Very sweet. When she was in her teens, she enlisted in the British Army Cadets. She later attended Plymouth University to study sports science. Um, she would be hired as a staff volunteer by the cadets and would take part in several outdoor activities. Um, she completed additional coursework in juvenile studies at Liverpool Hope University before spending 4 months working as a sports instructor in the American state of Maine as part of the Camp America program. I'm a fellow Camp
So
America
she's pretty much
participant.
a badass.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's done a lot. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I have done absolutely nothing in comparison.
She's a badass. That's awesome. Okay.
My goodness. Rebecca would visit London in June 2010 to apply for a position with the Disney Cruise Line, and she would obviously be hired. She attended the training at the company's Florida theme parks. What? Man, took me
Uh-huh.
31 years to go to Orlando and Disney. I had to spend a lot of money doing that. I should have just applied for a job with Disney Cruise Line. God damn.
Mhm.
Um, and she would also spend 4 months on cruises to the Bahamas. Oh my God, where the ships are registered and then return home for 2 months of vacation. That sounds
Wow.
unbelievable. So that's the sweetest
Mhm.
deal in the world. Yeah, that's insane. I am insanely jealous. Obviously, with how this goes, maybe it's a good thing I don't work on a cruise ship, but still, training at Disney World, 4 months on cruises
Mhm.
to the Bahamas, like, and then going home for 2 months of vacation. That sounds pretty sweet. I think I could do
It's
that.
a good gig.
I think
It's a good
yeah.
gig. I could do that too.
um, so Rebecca was where she was working on the Disney Wonder vessel located in the port of Los Angeles when she resumed her duties. She traveled through the Panama Canal and all of its Mexican Riviera points of call. I would probably take a Disney cruise. I would go on a Disney cruise.
100%.
Like,
I've been on a few cruises. I mean, I live a couple hours away from the ports here in Florida, and I've been on a few. Never been on a Disney cruise, but I've heard all ages from 2 years old to 90 years old that they are phenomenal.
yeah, I've heard
It's the
really
I
good
hear about
things.
the oh, yeah, their attention to detail and every aspect, the food, the fun, everything. I've just heard that they're great.
Yeah.
And to work on that, that would be ideal. That'd be really fucking cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to like look at how much a Disney cruise costs and then get really sad that I'll never be able to afford it.
Oh, yeah. Let's cry together because 'cause they're fucking expensive.
Like it costs enough to go to the parks. I dread to think what a Disney cruise would cost.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I would want to be bougie with it. I'd be like, I want a club room. I want all of these extra things. And then my bank account would be like, yeah,
Crying.
no, Dom, no.
Yeah, that's you can go online and book it all, and then when you get to live the dream, the fantasy for a couple of minutes until you have to pay and then just shut it down.
uh, when Rebecca's grandfather passed away, she would go back to Chester for 2 weeks. And unfortunately, this would be the last time her relatives would ever see Rebecca Coriam. Dun dun
Aw.
dun. So Rebecca would be last seen on CCTV on March the 22nd, 2011 at 5:45 a.m. in the staff lounge, talking on an internal phone line, wearing men's clothing and being visibly upset. A young man approaches her and appears to inquire about her well-being. Her mouth can be seen or be read saying, quote, "Yeah, fine," after which she hangs up the phone. She would then walk away with the characteristics her parents claim were typical of her, which is pushing her hair back and putting her hands in her back pockets. Coriam was traveling from Los Angeles to, Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah,
I hope
you got
that's
it.
right. I need to learn that if I say it confidently, even if I mess it up, it's fine. I've said it convincingly enough that it's right.
You got it. Just roll with it. Just keep it going.
So Coriam was traveling from Los Angeles to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. However, she never appeared or was heard from again after hanging up the phone. Disney workers were alerted when Coriam failed to show up for her 9 a.m. duty and searched the ship. However, that would be in vain. The Mexican Navy and the United States Coast Guard were then asked to conduct an ocean search, but they too were unable to locate her. So, the scene is set. Rebecca Coriam has gone missing on her cruise ship. So let's talk about the investigation, which was, and this is being kind, a little bit sketchy, a little bit lazy, and a
That's
little
too
bit suspect.
lazy, suspect, and what was the other word?
Sketchy
Bullshit. What was it?
or bullshit.
Sketchy.
Yeah,
Same
bullshit's
thing.
a good one.
Yeah. It's just I'm already frustrated because these things shouldn't happen, but all right. All right.
Oh,
Keep going. You're
you're
pissing me off.
yeah. I'm never
Not
coming on
you,
this
the
show again.
story. Okay.
Well, I wish I could say that your frustration level will go down, but it's only probably going to go up. So I'm going to apologize now for that.
Okay.
Bless her. Bless her. If Amy was here and she heard me say that, she would probably just leave the call entirely. Bless.
Just start raging.
Yeah, probably. So
Oh,
under
Amy.
the flags of convenience system, jurisdiction of the case fell to the country of the ship's registration, which in this case was the tax haven of the Bahamas. Disney would get in touch with the Royal Bahamas Police Force 3 days after Coriam vanished to start an inquiry. Paul Roll, a detective from the RBPF, was sent to Los Angeles by Disney on a private jet in response to the incident. When the Wanda arrived back at the port, he spent a whopping 1 day speaking with a staggering 6 of the 950 staff members and none
Are you
of the more
kidding?
than 2,000 passengers. That's
Are
some
you
great
kidding? And they have
detective
footage
work.
of her. What the fuck? They have footage of her on the cruise ship, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They
they have
of her talking
CCTV
on the
footage.
phone and
Yeah.
thank you, CCTV footage. So how does it go from A to Z like that? That's okay.
That's crazy.
And you would think Disney, they are so careful about their image. How could they let something like that slide?
Yeah. And even later on in the episode, like, there are some things that are like, Disney must know more than they're letting on. And there must be
Yes.
some shady stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Disney adult, which I know is
Mhm.
cringy, but I'm a Disney adult. But at the same time, like this episode, or when I was outlining the episode, I was like, Disney, ooh, this is a bit sus. I'm not gonna lie.
Uh-huh.
Gonna
Dom,
lie.
you should look up if you haven't. I don't think you've done this, but there's some conspiracies about crimes and deaths that have happened at Disney that get covered up.
I know of some of them. Like, there's the rumor that like Walt Disney's head is buried on property, and like people
Uh-huh.
like there's a ghost in the park. I'm not sure which one. It might be Disneyland, and like there's legends about like Pirates of the Caribbean being haunted and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I've read some interesting. I do need to do an episode about it though. I think it would make a really good one
Mhm.
actually.
It would, and people who have actually died there, and the code words that the employees use on their microphones, and the way that they handle this it's really weird.
So yes, top investigating from our power roll there, 6 people. Um, if you count the passengers and the staff, probably looking at around 3,000 people. Man decided that 6 people was enough. Literally, spoke to 6 and called it a day. It was like, no,
Okay.
that cool. I'm done. My work here is
Mhm.
done. Cool.
Yeah, clearly.
It's so we have this fictional character. Now, you've probably heard in our episodes. We have this fictional detective who is like the figure of anytime there's bad police work. Me and Amy are like, yeah, this is Detective McClue. This has got him all over it. McClue is investigated this case, and he's been like, oh, he's spoken to like 6 people, and he's been like, I'm tired.
That was
That was a
tough.
lot. Phew.
He's gotta get back on his private jet
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
that he took. Some bullshit. Alright.
Oh dear me. So Mike and Anne Maria Coriam, Rebecca's parents, were flown out from England to meet the ship when it returned. The Coriams asserted that Disney held them in a vehicle with darkened windows and boarded through a seldom used side door after all other passengers had left. The captain of the Wonder offered his sympathies and his idea that Rebecca had been swept overboard by a wave while at the crew pool, a theory that the Coriams questioned because of the facility's high walls. They were then
What? Oh,
led to a gathering with Disney officials and the person Rebecca had been on the phone with. So, a few interesting tidbits to note at this point. One, the high walls are quite high. So,
mhm,
that must have been a hell of a wave to
mhm. Fucking tidal
sweep her
wave.
overboard. Like that must have been obscene. Also, Mike and Anne were taken to deck 5, which featured a crew swimming pool area in front of the ship's bridge and was surrounded by walls that were over 6 feet tall. They were then brought to Rebecca's
Hmm.
stateroom and the crew's quarters, where they were shown a sandal that was purportedly Rebecca's and was discovered on deck 5. In addition, her father got an email the day before the first anniversary of her disappearance from a woman claiming to have seen Rebecca out and about in Venice with a dark haired man in August of the previous
Hmm.
year. Hmm,
So,
indeed.
can I interject here?
Yeah, yeah,
They're saying they're presuming that a wave swept her off ship over
yeah,
a 6-foot tall wall.
yeah.
That's called bullshit. There's no there's no way. What is this, a fucking Disney cartoon? They probably tried to pay him off. I bet those parents had to sign an NDA and got a settlement. Oh,
Maybe, maybe.
maybe.
It's hard to believe that a wave swept overboard because I mean, you got the 6 foot high wall, which, yes, i- on its own doesn't sound like massive, but at the same time, it's on deck 5, so it's not at the
Mhm,
bottom of the ship. Like it's quite high up, I'm assuming on on the
mhm.
ship. So that must if that would have to be a ridiculous wave, like a giant wave.
Yeah, like the wave from Moana. Now I've got Disney movies in my head.
the
So it's like
the
Maui came and used his little staff and
yeah.
whatever. That's just bullshit.
the
Okay.
wave the wave from Interstellar where they go to that planet and like that ridiculous wave. That's what swept her off the ship, apparently.
And she's the only one. It mysteriously, no one else got swept up by this wave, just her. And I bet there wasn't a sign of water on the deck.
I mean, it is very questionable.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Also, when you said sign of water on the deck. It sounded like you said sign of water on the dick, and I had to very much stifle a giggle.
That's a different story here, Dom. That's next
Eh,
week's episode.
Amy is the one who does the sexual puns on this show, so if Amy was
She's my
here,
spirit animal.
she would very much have cackled at that and made it into some sort of innuendo.
As she should.
Oh, absolutely. So the woman who allegedly saw Rebecca out and about claimed that after seeing the family's website, she was 85% positive that it was Rebecca. However, her uncle questioned how she had gotten there without her passport, which was one of the items her parents had found in her accommodations. The Disney Wonder departed the harbour the day after Rebecca's parents arrived, and the Coriams would watch from the shore as it would sail on its subsequent tour.
Oh,
Even though,
sad.
yeah, that I did think like that was quick, a little bit sus. I told you, you're only going to get more frustrated, Carmen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. I'm there.
Even though the RBPF case is still under investigation, Disney deemed the situation to be resolved and, in a ceremony that some of the ship's crew attended, would place flowers at the scene of the unsuspected rogue wave on deck 5.
The unsuspecting rogue wave.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, what a mess. All right.
What a mess indeed. And on that note, I think it's time, a good time to take a quick break. How do you feel
Sounds
about?
good. I need it.
Yeah, I think so. I think we both need to sort of, I don't know, if I had a cigarette, have a smoke. If I had a drink, have a drink.
Whatever you need to get you through.
Whatever I need to get me through the rest of this frustrating episode.
Yeah.
So, yes, on that note, we'll take a quick break and we shall see you back here very, very soon. Welcome back, everybody, to the second part of today's episode. So, Carmen, what are we thinking? She got swept off the ship. There's some cover up, maybe foul play. What are you thinking? What are you thinking so far?
There's no way she got swept off the ship. I think there was a abduction, a crime, a human trafficking, I don't know. And I really don't see why she would escape her life and wind up in Venice. Is that what you said?
Mhm.
And without a trace on her own fruition, why would she do that? She seems to have a pretty free life already.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
There are things that don't quite add up, I would say. And I think the human trafficking sort of suggestion is there's a good chance of that. I think that's quite common in cruise ship disappearances, that like the likelihood that they've been taken off the ship and then sold into human trafficking, or one of the theories on a previous cruise ship disappearance I did was sexual slavery, like being sold into sexual slavery. So yeah, I think there's a good chance that those two things are the case. The sweeping of the ship, I don't know. But let's get into the theories and the things that don't
Sure.
quite add up.
Sure.
And let's get a bit more frustrated with this episode.
Great. Good times.
Good times. Good comments like, why didn't you go with the original episode that you were going to do, Dom? God damn it. So when the Coriams were dissatisfied with Disney's explanation for their daughter's disappearance, they would recruit Scotland Yard veteran Roy Ram. That is a sensational name. Roy Ram. That's
Roy Ram. I love alliteration.
like, sounds like some Prohibition era detective. Roy Ram is on the case.
Well, he's got his monocle ready too.
Yeah.
So.
If he doesn't have like a top hat as well, and like some in a stick like the Monopoly man has, I'm going to be really upset.
Oh yeah. Same.
So, yes, they recruited Roy Ram as a private investigator and enlisted the help of Chester MP, Chris Matheson, and former Deputy Prime Minister Lord Prescott. Wow, they are
Wow.
going for the big guns. God
Quite the
damn.
gaggle here.
Yeah, that's quite the crime solving threesome. Got Detective Roy Ram, got MP Chris Matheson, and former Prime Minister Lord Prescott. I mean,
Yeah, the
goddamn.
threesome. They've got to investigate the wet dicks
Yep.
with their threesome, as you said.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, what they discovered outside of the scope of the formal investigation has unsettling ramifications for Rebecca Coriam's potential outcome. So, Disney has consistently maintained that Rebecca was swept off of Deck 5 on March the 22nd between the hours of 6 and 9 a.m. However, there are a lot of contradictions to this story. One is that, according to Ram's account, the weather and ocean conditions in the area of Puerto Vallarta, where the ship was located, do not indicate stormy weather, much less a rogue wave that would require the height of about 100 feet to sweep the person over the 6-foot walls that enclosed Deck 5.
Well,
Told you
this
that
is
wave.
my totally called for duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, like it's that way. So, like I said, that wave must have been pretty damn big, and doesn't sound like there's stormy weather in that area at that time that would make a 100-foot wave.
Yep.
Mm.
And that's the first thing you've got to investigate. Obviously, the easiest thing to track down is the weather in the area at the time.
Yeah. So the CCTV footage of Rebecca speaking on an internal phone line at the time of her last known whereabouts is the main piece of physical evidence in the case of her disappearance. Ram's studies led him to the conclusion that the timestamp and location had been removed from the CCTV tape by cropping it. Ooh, sneaky Disney. Sneaky. The CCTV footage, according to Disney, was taken inside on Deck 5, not far from the area where Rebecca is said to have been swept overboard. Ram and other investigators discovered that the video was actually filmed on Deck 1, not in the location of Rebecca's supposed accidental disappearance, after watching the undoctored copy of the footage. The family has often been refused access to copies of the video.
That's not okay.
So, Ram and oh no, sorry, I've literally just fucking read that bullet point. I'm going back on myself. A sandal purportedly found on Deck 5 that belonged to Rebecca was another noteworthy item of tangible evidence presented by Disney. Family and crew members maintained that the sandal was the wrong size and was not in Rebecca's style, in addition to the fact that it also bore the name and cabin number of someone else entirely. So, yeah.
What? Okay. What a weird detail, too. What a weird little thing, a sandal. What? It doesn't make any sense.
No, absolutely not. I love that it like, there's the sandal's like, the sandal's not the right size. It might not be her style, but also it has someone else's fucking name on it. So
yeah. But let's just throw this in there as evidence. You never know. Just sprinkle in a little fuckery. You never know. It might stick. It doesn't.
Yeah.
No, that's weird.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to present that as evidence, Disney, at least, like, I don't know, cover up the name and the cabin number that's on the sandal.
Or use a little nail polish to paint over it.
Nail polish, paint over it. Get some Tipex and write on it. Like, come on, Disney. Like,
weird.
This is some bad evidence planting. God, jeez. So, The Guardian investigative reporter John Ronson boarded the Wanda a few months after Rebecca vanished to try and understand the circumstances around the incident. He learned from staff members that Disney's intention behind the explanation was potentially dubious. One crew member disclosed, quote, "Disney knows exactly what happened. The phone call she had, it was taped. Everything here is taped. There's CCTV everywhere. Disney have the tape," end quote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I would
Um,
say too. 100%.
yeah, yeah. Like there's CCTV all over that ship, so there must be some video that obviously Disney haven't released that shows potentially
I
what really happened.
100%. Mm-hmm. Yes, I 100% agree with you. I mean, these cruises are world famous. Famous people, people from
Yeah.
all over, royalty bring their children on these Disney cruises. They know what happened. There's no way there's not footage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So another staff member answered Ronson's question regarding Rebecca, saying, quote, "I don't know anything about it. It didn't happen. You know that's the answer that I have to give."
Oh, burn.
Ooh.
I don't like
Rebecca
that.
No, that's a yeah. That raises suspicions a little bit, let's just say. Rebecca's family and friends from England described her as happy-go-lucky and energetic. Working with Disney would require one to be of an overall sunny disposition, or, quote, "Disney wouldn't hire you if you weren't that sort of person," according to a member of the crew. Well, that's me out of the running for a job as a Disney cruise cast member.
That's true. They have to be a very specific personality to
Yeah.
get hired with them.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, you could play one of the Snow White 7 dwarves. There's a personality there for everyone. You pick one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll be Sleepy.
uh, Sleepy is a good one, to be fair. Um,
Yeah.
I'll be Grumpy. That would be me.
Oh, no, you're kidding. Oh, shucks. I would have never guessed. No, just kidding.
Oh dear.
Oh, you do though. You have to be sunny and bright, and they have a whole I've never worked there, but I've known people who have, and it's very weird. But it all
Yeah.
adds to the show of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So Rebecca's close friends and other crew members portray a more complex portrait of her than her parents and the media. One crew member who was asked about Rebecca said that she was, quote, "a lovely girl with underlying sadness." Um,
Hmm.
in 2017, Rebecca's partner and Wonder crewmate Tracy Medley spoke about what happened on March the 22nd, 2011. So this is so out of left field. It's kind of funny how out of left field
Mhm.
this is in comparison to everything else. So Tracy would assert that Rebecca and herself participated in a threesome that evening with Medley's boyfriend. Rebecca had been upset about their fiery and passionate connection in the weeks before, according
Oh.
to Medley. I told you,
Oh,
it's
I didn't
juicy.
expect that. Yeah. Wait, but now I'm getting a different vibe. Are they what they would regarded her with a sad disposition? That's gives me a different vibe there. What could have
Yeah.
happened? Is that a theory?
I mean, there is some twists and turns, and
Okay.
her jumping overboard, I think, is a theory that has been thrown around.
Okay.
The shock of having a male friend as a lover, or possibly competing sexually for Medley's attention, may have been enough to turn Rebecca's normally upbeat disposition um, a bit darker. In
Mm.
retrospect, Medley thinks that she leapt over the deck 5 railings to jump into the water because she wanted to leave the ship and end her life. Um,
Oh boy.
Rebecca's English relatives and friends, however, have very much denied that she committed suicide. But was there
Mm.
foul play involved? Maybe murder was afoot on the Disney Wonder.
Yes, there was foul play. If you're asking me, the answer is yes. That's what I say.
So yeah, that was an interesting little tidbit in comparison to the other stuff we've spoken about. Maybe Rebecca felt scorned in some way,
Mm.
but you know, there doesn't seem to be a lot of evidence that would point to her jumping off the ship. So I don't know how much stock I
I would
put
hate to
into that.
think that, yeah, I'd hate to think that a situation like that would cause her to do something like that. I don't know. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like it.
If Tracy said that Rebecca and herself participated in a threesome that evening,
Oh.
like,
Oh, I missed that part, Dom. What the fuck?
oh,
That's a lot. I missed that part. Okay, now it's making more sense, but still. I mean, unless all right.
but I mean, like, surely that was a consensual threesome. I can't imagine that it was
Mhm.
non-consensual. So would she have jumped overboard because of Medley's attention, having been,
Mhm.
you know, elsewhere? I don't know. I don't know how much I put stock into that.
Right. I agree with you.
But I love that you completely missed the threesome part. It's funny.
I did. It blanked out for a second on our online
Oh, did it?
across all
Oh, okay.
this land and ocean. I had a 1 second blank out and it was on the word threesome. What the hell?
Of
Okay.
course, it's on the word threesome as well. It wouldn't be any other word. Oh
Yeah, I
dear.
mean, okay. I could see why that would be a theory of her jumping off ship, but I don't know. Where's the
Yeah,
video footage? I just can't get over that.
yeah. That's the sort of sticking point. I think is, where is, like, there is video footage out there, or there must be video footage out there that Disney don't want people to see, or they haven't released it. So, you know, until that happens, I think that there's so much speculation for this case, unfortunately.
Right.
So, Rebecca Coriam's case was a botched investigation, according to crew members, family, friends, and law enforcement officials. It
Yep.
is difficult to be happy with the quality of the police work performed when only 6 formally documented interviews happened. There was suppressed evidence, and there has been no forensic investigation. Definitely something that would raise one's eyebrows, I think.
Mhm.
A good friend and one of the last people that um, aboard the ship to see Rebecca alive offered his opinion to the BBC and stated, quote, "I was never spoken to by any security or police. To call this an investigation is an insult." Um,
Mm.
mm, I would tend to agree. To call this an
Mm.
investigation is a little bit of a stretch. That's putting it kindly.
Yeah, that's quite a quote right there. That says a lot.
Hmm. Absolutely. Within Rebecca's remaining cabin belongings in 2016, investigator Ram discovered a torn pair of shorts. He and other law enforcement officials thought this indicated there may have been a struggle or perhaps a sexual assault before she vanished.
Hmm.
The Coriam family became aware of activities on Rebecca's bank account and a password change on her Facebook many months after she vanished. According to
What?
according to NP Matheson, quote, "I believe there's sufficient evidence to indicate a crime may well have taken place." Yeah.
Yes.
It's definitely like when someone goes missing and there's like a bank account transaction that comes up, or there's bank account activity that comes up, or there's Facebook account activity, like that's always a massive red flag. Massive red flag for
Huge
me
red
anyway.
flag. Yes, huge red flag. That's insane. And they couldn't track, I'm assuming, in their stellar work, they couldn't track down the source of these transactions and her Facebook activity. It's so weird. It's so weird.
And the detective was like, "Ooh, after interviewing those 6 people, I don't know if I can track that as well. God,
It's too
Dad,
much.
I'm only one man."
That's a lot of work. It's tough. It's tough life.
Oh dear.
It's ridiculous, is what it is. That's sad too.
Yeah, yeah. And like you say, it's sad that this wasn't handled so much better. And it's very similar to the other sort of cruise ship case I did a few episodes ago, where that investigation was extremely suspect. It's just like bad police work is so frustrating, and me and Amy come across it so often in our cases, like
Mhm.
so often. It's like, man, so many
It's sad.
crimes.
And
Like, yeah,
yep,
it's so sad.
yeah, these things shouldn't happen anymore. They
No.
don't need to be happening. We have enough technology now, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why'd you do this to me?
More than a decade later, with suppressed evidence, only 6 documented interviews, and a very half-assed investigation, this case is highly unlikely to ever be solved. With friends and
Hmm.
family still searching for answers to the same nagging questions, and with the case going cold at this point, the answers and closure that the family so desperately seek is something that they may never receive. And that is the case
Yeah.
of the disappearance of Rebecca Coriam. We still do not know what happened to Rebecca. What do you think,
Wow.
Carmen?
I'm just it's so depressing. It's so sad. And I honestly I don't think they're ever going to get their answers that they're looking for. I think that's it. I don't know. I think if they really thought that she jumped overboard, then that would have been the story from the beginning.
Yeah,
But because they came up with such a strange version of events, it makes it seem so outlandish and just fucking bullshit. That's what I
yeah.
think.
There are a lot of question marks with like the investigation,
Mhm.
with Disney being unwilling to release evidence and being unwilling to sort of work with the parents and work with authorities. I don't
Right.
know if, like, I definitely don't buy that a rogue wave knocked her off the ship. I find that extremely difficult to believe. Just jumping off the ship herself. I don't know if there's any. It was said that, while she was happy, she did have underlying sadness, but nothing was really sort of delved into what exactly the underlying sadness was. So
Right.
I don't know what would be the trigger for that, but also murder, foul play. I don't know if that's the case either. There's just so many questions. I don't think like if I was asked Dom, like, could you give a definitive answer of what happened? I don't think I could, which is really annoying
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I do this with all of our unsold episodes. Amy's like, right, Dom, gun to your head. Like, can you get? And I'm always like, I'm gonna have to sit on the fence. I'm sorry.
hmm I really hope that human trafficking isn't what went on here, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think there's a good chance that it did. It seems to be a relatively common outcome when someone disappears from a cruise ship. That's the situation. Um, in the other cruise ship case I did, that was one of the very prevalent theories, that she was sold into sexual slavery. Um,
mhm.
Disney, God damn it, why must you frustrate us so? Like, I love you and I love your theme parks, and Disney World was amazing, and I can't wait to go to Disneyland Paris. But God damn, like, God
Seriously.
damn,
So I have one question for you, Dom.
yes,
Will you come on my show?
absolutely.
Yay. Okay, great. So we'll have to schedule that in the future. I gotta have another crazy conversation with you, but I need to be the one to torture you next time.
Absolutely, you can do an unsolved episode, and you can see Amy have a meltdown over it.
Oh, I can't wait.
But no, I would like, yeah, we would love to come on your show. Absolutely,
Sweet.
that would be amazing. But before we wrap up, I know that you said it at the very top of the episode, but for the people that are still here and haven't decided to go outside and shout because they're like, what's going on? Um, if you could once again just sort of tell people where they can find your show and all of that good stuff.
Thank you so much. And first of all, thank you so much for having me on. This has been awesome. Love your show. You and Amy are great.
Uh,
You can find us at Instagram at Live Laugh Murder Podcast, and we are on most major listening platforms, all I believe. And I always am told randomly that I missed one, but Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. So come find us, Live Laugh Murder, and you'll hear my co-host Joanna and I talk a lot of shit and tell some crazy
Wonderful.
stories.
Wonderful. And, like I said earlier in the episode, definitely go and listen to Carmen and Joanna. Their show is in my weekly rotation. I love listening to it and getting every single one wrong. One day I will get one right, and I'll message Carmen being like, "Oh my god, I finally got it! I told you it was a true crime case. I knew
Finally.
it."
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see when I have you on how you do.
So I love your show, and definitely give them the love, give them the listens, give them the reviews. 5 stars is a good number. I think that's a good number.
I think so.
But yeah, thank you for coming on, Carmen. It's been an absolute pleasure. To end from my end, thank you everybody for listening to this episode today. There are many ways that you can support us at Horror House. You can rate on Spotify, you can review on the website and on Apple Podcasts. There is the Discord server. So if you want to come join us on Discord, me and Amy are there. We shoot the shit. We ask our episode ideas. We make announcements. Well, in the not too distant future, we'll do some live streams. We'll do some hangouts. It's a good old time. You can hear us talk about superior puddings for some reason. I don't know why that's a common thread in the Discord server, but apparently superior puddings is a thing. But it's a lot of fun. So come join us there. Also, you can find us on YouTube now if you want to watch us as well as listen to us. There is the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. You can also follow us on Instagram at horrorhouse_pod. If you want to support us financially, there is the Buy Me a Coffee link, which you'll find in the bio and in the show notes. But all that's left to say from me is until next time, as always, stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Thank you, Dom. Thank you, guys. And Amy, I miss you, but you're coming on my show, girl. Both of you are. So I'm going to meet you then.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.